What's up everybody, Kinetic here and welcome back to The Division. So, it is finally time for me to talk about the gun balance changes to The Division in patch 1.3 and some other stuff. This is going to be yet another ground-shattering, like core-shaking amount of changes to the game in this patch. I was actually waiting until this week. I could have done a video last week like so many other YouTubers. I could have done a video talking about the weapon changes and stuff, but I decided to wait until this week until we got the state of the game and a more official reveal of the changes for gun balancing, and we got a lot more than that. We got more details regarding those gun balance changes, and we also got some very shocking news about gear set changes as well. But keep in mind that the way Massive seems to work with each and every one of these patches is we sort of get the picture in pieces, almost like a jigsaw puzzle, little pieces that will eventually form up the bigger picture. For example, the big crafting changes that came out a couple of patches ago. Everybody was shocked about the sort of nerf to crafting, and then it turns out that they were also giving us guaranteed drops, so we found out the complete picture eventually. And I think that this will be the same true also for this patch. There's a lot of confusion, and there's also some very, very frustrated people in the community, as you can see from, for example, the Division Reddit. But I'm holding back my full reactions until we actually get the full patch notes and the patch in our hands. So let's go over these gun changes, right? A lot of the stuff we've already heard of, a lot of it we haven't heard of. Shotguns, for example, will now have a stagger effect. Just like, for example, if you hit somebody with a melee attack and cause an enemy to stagger, that is going to now happen with shotguns. The bad news is that currently they're only able to make this work for PvE situations against NPCs. They're trying to get it to work in PvP, but they're not satisfied with the results of the way that it's working out. Also related to shotguns is they're buffing the damage something upwards to 30%. Now keep in mind as I go over all of these gun changes that some of these will be retroactive changes, which means that they will affect guns that already exist in the current patch when patch 1.3 comes out, and some of these changes to weapons will not happen until you find a new gun in patch 1.3. As far as shotguns go, they fall into the not changing retroactively category, so only new shotguns that you find in 1.3 will actually have these changes. But yeah, I think that this is a good change for shotguns, and I would love to see this stagger effect working in PvP as well. I think that that would be rather beastly. Next up we have the changes to assault rifles, which will now, just like shotguns, have a PvE only effect of armor destruction. Again, they're trying to get this to work in PvP. It's not working the way that they like it to yet, so it's only going to affect PvE situations. LMGs are getting a sweet buff in the form of out of cover damage. They want to reinforce sort of the role in the sort of fantasy and reality actually too of LMGs putting down suppressive fire. Huge clips, tons of bullets, making your enemies shit their pants to want to come out of cover and take damage if they do. That's what LMGs are going to do now in the Division, with upwards to 30% more damage to targets out of cover. As far as marksman rifles go, they are making changes to the M1A. They're going to nerf sort of the reticle bloom in that it's going to be more severe. As you take more consecutive shots in a short amount of time, the accuracy overall of your shots is just going to get really, really bad. They're trying to make it so that way it's more of like an M44. You're really going to have to take a little, half second or so or something like that in between shots and allow that accuracy to readjust to get more effectiveness out of M1A marksman rifles. And finally, we have big changes, of course, to SMGs. SMGs have been king, and they've been king for probably too long, I think. As much as I love my SMGs, these changes that we're hearing about are going to shake things up in a very positive way, I think, to allow there to be more viability with not just other SMG weapons, but overall all the varieties of guns in the game. So what we have is mainly a big change in that they're removing crit hit chance and they're replacing crit hit chance on SMGs with crit hit damage. Now, with this in combination with the new crit hit chance cap of 60%, this is really probably one of the biggest changes that is going to completely reimagine what endgame builds are going to be like from patch 1.3 and beyond. In addition to that, they're also going to reduce the damage of vectors and augs by something like 10%. Some people say that mathematically the vector and aug is still going to be on top. Other people are saying that MP7s will now be king, and honestly, nobody knows a damn thing until we actually get the new gear score guns. With new gear score is going to go up to 229, and for those of you not keeping tabs, there were big changes to the way certain guns handled, I should say, between gear scores, for example 183 and 204. Like vectors, for example, completely different feeling of handling once you got a 204. It was much more stable than the gear score version under that, and who's to say that that's not going to be the case again, and maybe backwards in the form of a nerf possibly to certain SMGs in their, for example, their stability, or maybe even their RPMs. Right now, nothing is certain. So to say that Vector or AUG or MP7 is going to be king in the next patch is just fragile, shallow speculation, in my opinion. Wait till 1.3 comes out, then we'll know the truth. Aside from gun balancing changes in patch 1.3, we're also getting some very big changes to gear sets, two specifically the Striker's Battle Gear set and the Sentry's Call set. They are now both going to require, and this is kind of vague in its meaning, but basically they're saying that in order to get the full benefits of these two gear sets, you will need to wear 5 pieces. 5, that's right, not 4, 5 pieces. And I believe that this is directly related to things like crit hit damage on Striker's Battle Gear and headshot damage bonus for the Sentry's Call. They are trying to isolate, I think, people's ability to get these bonuses, that if you want them, you've got to wear the set, rather than mixing and matching all of these gear sets. Now, I know that this is incredibly frustrating for a lot of people in the community, and I'm not here to try and sound like I'm some kind of Ubisoft puppet to, do damage control or something like that, but from my perspective, I get where they're going with this. It sucks, because it still feels like we're guinea pigs playing beta, right? It sucks, but this probably is another necessary evil. Just like the big changes to crafting, which still feel honestly a bit heavy-handed, but necessary. Just like the new cap on crit hit chance at 60%, necessary evil there. I think that that's what's happening here with the gear sets as well, to make it more sensible and easier for them as designers for current future gear sets for patch 1.3 and beyond that. This is probably what they feel needs to be done. Weapon talent recalibration. Just like we've been going to the recal station for recalibrating our armor to swap out, for example, major or minor attributes and things, we are now going to be able to take our guns and change out one talent to change it out for another. Let's say you want to change out a talent, then you will be able to choose one and then be able to recalibrate it into hopefully a better talent. So that's really cool news. Now there's actually a few other things that definitely came up in the state of the game that are worth talking about and addressing, I suppose, but the last one that I felt that was most significant was the nerf, and this is their words, nerf, straight nerf to special ammo, and that they're reducing their effectiveness for incendiary ammo and explosive ammo. Basically, they're trying to prevent you from getting one shot, for example, by M44s with explosive rounds. And let's be honest, nobody thinks, honestly, that that's a great way to have game balance one shot from an M44. I mean, it sounds cool, and I'm not saying I wouldn't giggle like a little girl if I did it to somebody, but come on, we can't really have that happen. And I think most people are in agreement as well that nobody wants PvP to be decided based on special ammo and its use, right? So that's going to be a really big improvement, I think, for the Dark Zone. So there we go, there's my catch-up video, I guess, for changes coming up from patch 1.3. I'm sorry it took me so long to talk about this stuff. People were asking me last week about how I felt, and like I said, I wanted to hold back. I didn't want to just throw out a video like, you know, all these other YouTubers with half-baked ideas of what's happening and stuff like that. I wanted to hear it from the belly of the beast itself, massive, what the hell is going on, and they gave it to us, and a whole lot of other information, and I'm more than certain that we are going to hear even more details from the special report regarding these issues and more, for example, stash size and shock turrets, as well as all cool new info about the upcoming new gameplay features and elements like the new incursion coming out and also the underground missions. So for now, that's going to be it for this video. I want to know what you guys think now. Down in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on the changes to gun balancing, to gear sets and things like that? Do you think that it's complete bull and that none of this needs to be happening, that there's a better way to go about balancing and things like that? Let me know all that good stuff down in the comment section. Click the like button if you enjoy these Division videos here on the channel, or dislike if you you don't. That's fine too. Either way, I'm going to be making more videos of the Division for patch 1.3 and beyond, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next video. Thanks again for watching. My name is Kinetic, and I'll see you next time.